Thank you, beautiful ladies. As part of this group, I wanted to welcome the new arrivers. I've got here Janine, Kathleen Shapiro, Sulesa Harmon. Sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly. I've got Sue Graham Bunt. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Lavish Collective. This is a very sacred space. I'm so happy and delighted to have you all on board. I'm just so you know, this is a space of where we get nurtured, where we are able to be vulnerable with our personal experiences. So this is not just simply about wanting to look as professional as possible. This is about being genuine, being vulnerable, being open about your things. I want you to feel free to come on here and to share your personal stories, and if you feel that you've got any insights to share with women, because whatever you may have experienced in your past, maybe some other woman in the group may have experienced it as well, and maybe hasn't validated her emotions enough to sort of come forward with it, either the time that she's been in this group or before and in life. Okay, so my name is Vanessa Mariano, and I'm the co-founder of Intuitive Health and Yoga. So I'm all about using intuition, using mindset strategy to help women to work through traumas that are in the body, so that remain in our tissue, in our cellular memory. And I like to offer different techniques to help you work through the stored emotions and the catches that kind of remain in your chakras and that affect you in your life, because it stops you from moving forward in your life. It stops you from really truly expressing and living your passions and your desires, and it stops you from truly experiencing pure love and joy as well. Okay, so this is why I've decided to create the Slavish Collective group, because I feel that collectively as women we're able to give each other the support that we need. A lot of the times we tend to be very much in our masculine energy. We tend to not validate our emotions, our negative experiences that have such a detrimental effect to our inner health. And what happens is that when we start to suppress those emotions, either because we have shame of admitting that we've got either a family member in our family that have caused a lot of grief, or whether we feel guilty, we have a lot of guilt and shame in ourselves because of what has been done to us, and we haven't forgiven ourselves for it, even though it wasn't our responsibility. So there's a lot of heaviness, there's a lot of emotions that we carry in our subconscious, right, that it doesn't serve us any good. If anything, what it does is it holds us back from really shining and really stepping into your power, really stepping into your true core of essence and of self. Okay, so for those of you that don't know a bit of my history, I used to have a hormonal imbalance, and that came to me in my life when I was about 25 years old. And as I investigated, as I found my own natural way of healing, what I recognized is that every step that I led before that day moved me closer to this illness. So when I managed to heal myself through the knowledge and the practice of beautiful natural remedies that I started to apply, the mindset change that I had, developing my intuition that really guided me on the right path. And a lot of the times it really takes to give yourself tough love and give the people around you tough love. So there's a lot of different ways that we can really start to take control of ourselves on a mind, body, and soul level. And this is what I would love to create in this group, is to share great knowledge and experiences, and for all of us to do this, because obviously, this is an opportunity for all of us to grow together. And just to understand really the importance of our health on a mind, body, and soul level, and how everything's really linked and in conjunction, and it works in conjunction to, to our true happiness and the way that we experience life, with passion and with joy and with bliss, because we're not made to be on this earth to really struggle, for things to be a hassle, for things to be a push through. I mean, definitely, these sacrifices are involved when it comes to learning our lessons. These pains that we must bring ourselves into, that space to reborn again, to rebirth into a new person, to our new version of self, right? However, I'm very aware, and I'm sure that a lot of you are, is that we live in a world that is, there's a lot of darkness out there. There's a lot of energies that are, floating around. There's a lot of conditionings, a lot of, negative belief systems. There's a lot out there. And the crucial thing for me in my life has been to really work on myself, on my internal health, because my body's my temple, to then affect my mind on a positive level, and then my frequency at the same time. So what happens is that when your body is really high frequency, then it's hard for you to catch flus, to catch illnesses, to catch sicknesses, but also for negativity to hold on to you. And you know what? I mean, no matter where we are in our growth, certain things are going to be affecting us at some level. Some things are going to be triggering us at some level. The beautiful thing about women that are empowered, women that want to step up, that want to do the inner work, that want to grow, that do research, that do self-inquire, so people like us, is that we are open. We are open, and it's important that we also remain open, to allow things to come up. Okay, that we allow ourselves to really open up, to be vulnerable, and to take ourselves through the journey of being empowered, because being empowered means being brave, being bold, to get to the other side of our fears, because we all have deep-seated fears. So what I'm noticing now as I am up leveling and moving up in my life, and I'm starting to do things that maybe I wouldn't have done, just recently. I wouldn't have done maybe 6 months ago. But what I find is that as I'm working through my inner belief systems, and as I'm healing those negative and deep-seated emotions of fear, not feeling good enough, is that as you're up leveling, you start to be even more wary or aware of the energies around you. So I just wanted to share with you a little experience that I had in the last few days. When I was with family, I recognize the sort of expectations family had. And, all of our family have expectations of us of some sort, right? Because we're not perfect. And realistically, we're all human, right? And whatever we don't deal with ourselves, we expect, or we throw it onto other people. This is what we do unconsciously. The point of us doing this inner work is so that we are conscious of our actions, so that we become conscious of other people's subconscious actions, right? So that we are not changed and molded to ways that suit them, right? We need to be molded in ways that help us to up level, and that help us to push us outside of our comfort zone, so that we have more to bring to the state, we have more to bring to the table, so we have more resources, and we have more tools and things to bring forward openly to help others in their own life, in their own struggles, with their own successes. So what I've experienced is, I've just finished Steph Ventura's course, is that I'm still actually needing to complete the last module. So I'll be getting onto that. But I was just journaling this morning, and because of something that came up in the last few days, and again, I had a lot of anger and rage that came through from the situation, and I'm thinking, holy heck! Like, every time there's always an event that you can. I returned back to this event when I deliberately created a belief system in my head, because of the fact that I didn't feel accepted, I didn't feel validated from the outside, the external. So I pushed myself to be different than who I am and who I was, right? So for those of you that don't know, I'm actually working on my masculine energy at the moment, and I'm talking about this openly because it's part of my journey. And it's very much part of what I do and what I teach within the group of these women, and with my clients as well. I'm all about really working through the chakras to help to either to clear the catches that our chakras uh, hold on to, because and this is why we need to do the clearing. This is why we need to do the clearing. So what happens is that when there's so many catches and there's so much clearing that has to be done on the chakras, there could be an imbalance between our masculine and our feminine energy, and that has a massive influence on how we respond to life. It's like our energy on this earth, right? On this earth plane, the masculine and the feminine energy. It has a massive impact on how we treat ourselves, the self-care, the love that we give ourselves, how much we own, the kind of work that we do, how much we know we believe in ourselves and we bring ourselves out there when we are serving, when we are being of service. So all of this comes in, is affected based on the inner work that we do, is affected based on the clearing. So I'm very much about purification and clearing. So we have to I believe that every single person is so responsible for the internal hygiene, the spiritual hygiene, that is easily sort of left out. And when life takes over, when children, take over most of your time, when your parents are demanding. So what I wanted to say is that, back on track, is that so I'm working on my masculine energy, and through my journaling today, like I said, I'm not afraid of admitting that, because we are always constantly working on something. And the first person that comes up to someone saying that, I am perfect, they're the first example to sort of to really avoid, because we are always eternal students. Okay, we could be at different levels in our life, but we are eternal students. We always have things to learn. We always have things, to learn and to up level from. It doesn't matter where you are in your life, in your growth. Okay, so so what was I going to say? Yeah, so I find that now that I am in a different level of my reality, of my subconscious, of my growth, it is so vivid and it is so obvious to me, like the level of expectation has that I've had around me. And because I hadn't worked through these limiting beliefs, I was kind of like still like a puppet, in the surrounding. And as I've recognized, and I've been doing the journaling and all of that, I've recognized at what level, at what point, sorry, I decided to give my masculine power away, right? And it was because of, oh my God, it was just so crazy. I don't know if I want to get into it, um, because I don't want to rant. I don't want to rant. I just wanted to let you know that I had a massive breakthrough today. And a lot of the times when we are lacking, or when we are not stepping into our masculine energy, when we are not anchored, when we are not in our feminine energy, there's always an event that you can bring yourself back to. And it is most likely that you decided on something, you made a decision that wasn't necessarily the best decision. Maybe it was the right decision because it was meant to be part of your life journey in the course of your learning, fine. But what I recognize for myself is that somewhere down the track in the past, and this is like my recent past in the last 5 years, I made a decision to step away from my truth because I wasn't accepted. Because every time I brought myself forward to the table of who I was and speaking my truth with respect, it was never received. And there was always conflict from it, because there was so much insecurity around me that I decided to level myself down to where I was, because my light nobody could handle. No one could handle. No one could handle it, because they were working through their own crap and they felt intimidated. And my heart goes out to these people. But what I'm saying is that how it's men, like, we have to take, it's so important to be clear about our energy and about other people's energies, and to not get those mixed up, because when we allow that to the other people's energies to mix with our own, we change. Our true essence changes. Our truth changes, and then you end up being lost, not feeling aligned with your purpose. And sometimes it's the people that love you the most that will affect you, because you may seek validation from them the most, right? I'm not saying all of you do, but I certainly did for a long time. And sometimes we are not always this strong to be able to, to set really firm boundaries. Sometimes we haven't been, and it's in those times that you are not strong that other people's lower belief systems really affect you, right? So I don't want to be ranting on too much, but I just wanted to welcome the beautiful woman in this group. I wanted to just give like a little introduction about the group, and just more encouragement about women coming forward and not being afraid of sharing your things. If you have things to teach, if you have things to share, um, feel free to come forward. I mean, this is the first group that I've actually opened up. And, I'm not personally, I don't have the experience, but what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I bring my authentic self to you, and that I share my story, and that I share my journey. And as a way to encourage you as well to sort of, do the same, because this is a very safe place for you to come in and open up. Um, and and I feel that uh, it's important to embrace our health on a mind, body, and spiritual level all the time. And if we are out of balance with something, to not feel scared to even ask someone for advice. We're made to feel guilty if we need support, if we ask for support. Yes, it's okay to have boundaries, and that's fine when you express them and you hold boundaries. That's fine, that's beautiful. But why do women feel guilty asking for support, or asking for help, or asking for advice? Why is it that we have so much shame and guilt around just being vulnerable and being honest with what we need? Are we afraid of being seen as weak? Um, I invite you to comment below if you have any answers, if you have any questions or any ideas about this. I personally feel that women's roles in the last years, I just feel the role of women, they've just been so abused. And in a way, the resentment that women have also held inside of being or living a submissive life for many centuries, it's caused the masculine energy to override the feminine. And that's quite sad, because we have lost um, that empathy and that compassion for ourselves and for our heart, because that's ultimately where we have to be to make the right decisions. Because when we operate from our heart space, we don't not only make the right decisions for ourselves, but we also know how to make the best and the right decisions for others. um So it's interesting and intricate to be very self aware of how to maintain a clear balance between the masculine and the feminine. And this is an ongoing journey for a lot of us. So even though I'm here and I want to teach you, and I'm here as a healer, and I know techniques that you can apply to sort of work through your masculine energy and work through your feminine energy, just so you know, when your mindset work is involved as well, that really does affect a lot of your internal functionalities, like on a subconscious level. So yeah, so I guess uh, for me, it's important to show up and to share my stories and to share my breakthroughs and to share with you what I feel is coming up in my life, because somehow, and without a shadow of a doubt, someone out there is going through the same thing. It's just not as easy to talk about it. Okay, it's not as easy to talk about it because we make it out as if, well, it's made out that we have to be, we have to have everything under control. We are strong, and that we have everything under control. What I want to stand for is that, yes, I want to share and come up here to share with you tools and techniques that I've used to help me overcome my own physical illness. Um, but also that I'm not afraid of sharing with you that I continue to work through my things, and I'm not going to hide that away. I'm not going to hide that from you. I'm not going to hide that from the people that I work with, because that is the reason why I continue to bring my own stories forward. I do bring my stories forward. Um, and I encourage you to do the same. When you bring your stories forward, it means that you've accepted them, that you're valuing them, that you're validating your truth. So, ladies, I'm going to send you a lot of love, and I'm sorry if I've babbled on for a lot. It's been 20 minutes now, 21 minutes into the video. Welcome to the new ladies for coming on board. I don't want you to feel shy to comment to the videos if you have any questions that may come up from what I say. If there's anything that you would like to explore more with me, you can definitely get on a call with me for a free 20-30 minute call with me, or you can just comment below and I'm happy to get back to you. Okay, ciao now.